Dear students, today we are going to learn the very first chapter called Accounting for Partnership Fundamentals. Last year, you learned the chapter called Sole Proprietorship and what happens now when in a sole proprietorship a partner joins. It is called partnership firm. So, in simple words, when there is more than one person, we can call it as a partnership firm. And what is the maximum number of partners needed? It's 50. Let us understand what are the other changes. What we learned last year in 11th, that was purely about a sole proprietor. Now, when we talk about partners, we have to create a separate capital account, which last year we did not do. Apart from that, we're going to learn P&L appropriation account. So let's get into the PPT slide that will help you to understand each and every ledger. Let's look into the very first slide. In this slide, you will understand what is Partnership Act 1932. Let's say that there are two partners who started off a business without making an agreement. After 1 year, there is a fight. Fight for the share of profit, fight for salaries, fight for commission. There could be any reason for fight. Now, to solve this fight, Government of India has made Partnership Act 1932. So anytime there is no agreement, you have to fall back on this act. The act is very simple. It states clearly you should not give any interest on capital, interest on drawings, salaries, commission to partner. Profit should always be shared equally. And if a partner provides loan to a firm, the firm is supposed to pay 6% interest. This 6% interest is very important, as well as the profit and loss equally part, because many sums where we are going to do, the sum would be silent about the profit sharing. That is the time when you should recollect and remember Partnership Act 1932. Last year, we did in sole proprietorship profit and loss account. If you remember, the debit side was the expense and credit side was your income, indirect expense and income, right? And what we got? We might have got a net profit or a net loss, which we put it in the balance sheet. But since we are doing a chapter called partnership, over here, we have to look into the expense related to the partners as well. Expense in a sense, if you're giving salary to a partner, it's an expense for the firm. All those things has to be recorded, and for that we create a new account called profit and loss appropriation account. The word itself states that the profit what we are getting from from the profit and loss account, we are going to appropriate among the partners. The left hand side is your net loss which we get from the profit and loss account, and then interest on capital, salaries and commission. Right hand side there is net profit. In case you make profit or loss, accordingly you have to do the posting. And then there is interest on drawings. If a partner is withdrawing money from the business can charge him interest on his drawings, and that is an income, and that is why it is posted in the credit side. So once you post the credit side and the debit side, you might get a difference. That would be your divisible profit. If the credit side is bigger, you get a profit. If debit side is bigger, you get a loss. Understand this term, divisible profit. That is, after appropriating everything, whatever is left is called the divisible profit. And net profit, net loss, I hope it's clear. It comes directly from the P&L account. Now, what is this transfer to reserve? You understand that in accounts, we believe in prudence concept. 11th grade, we learned that. What does prudence concept means? That means we always estimate that tomorrow there can be a loss. And for that reason, the entire profit is not distributed among the partner. They will keep something as a reserve, so that they can utilize it tomorrow if there is a loss. Example, today's COVID situation. If a businessman does not have a reserve, what will happen? In this COVID situation, you might see many business closing down because of this particular reason. All these things which you are saying in the format, that's the only item in P&L appropriation. You can read the extreme right to understand what is the meaning of it and how it has been done. Now some important points has been written in blue. The rent paid to partners or the interest on loan are charge, not appropriation. When the word charge comes, it means it is mandatory. Also, one more important thing, it means it will not be a part of your appropriation account. It would be part of your P&L account. So if in case they have given you net profit before charging interest on loan, that means you have to minus it. All right. So it's been very clearly mentioned over here. At times you might get net profit after charging the salary of the partner. You might get that situation. So you don't want a net profit after charging the salary. You want a net profit before charging the salary. So if there is any such appropriation done, you have to add it to the net profit. Even these points have been very clearly mentioned. Talking about commission, commission can be given as a percentage of net profit, or they might come up using a line that calculate the commission after commission is charged. The word after will make a difference here. If they use the word after commission is charged, then let's say the profit is 100 rupees, then you will, and commission is 5%, then you will do 5 by 105. I hope this slide is clear. It's a very important slide because this P&L appropriation would be used when you're doing guarantee of partners. Let's move on to the next slide. This slide gives you some more information about P&L appropriation. If there is a loss of 5,000 and the question states that you have to give IOC, salary and IOD. Now IOC and salary, you should always understand these are appropriation. Appropriation means if you have profit, only then you can give it. If you don't have profit, how can you pay the salaries or IOC to the partner? So in case of loss, this is very important to understand. IOC and salary will not be given to the partner. But what is IOD? Something you take from the partner, so it has to be recorded. This can be your one marker for your or MCQs. So pay a lot of attention to these simple lines. Now the next case, they are saying that IOC is a charge. What did I tell you the word charge means? It means it is mandatory. It means whether you make a loss or a profit, IOC has to be given. But salary is not a charge. It is still an appropriation. So that is why the salary is not being recorded. This is another interesting part, that is case number 3, which comes in pre-board or board exam. And most of the students do mistakes over here. The profit is 3,000. So you're going to record it in the right hand side as net profit 3,000. Now what happens after that? The partner 1, 2 and 3 is supposed to get different things: IOC, salary, commission. Now if you calculate, that is 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. It's 6,000 you have to pay to the partner. So do you have 6,000 to pay? No, you have just 3,000. That means you can only pay 3,000. In which ratio? Some students divide it equally because the ratio is not given. Some students divide it in different ways. They give this entire amount in the debit side, make the balance and write it in the credit side. Both these things are absolutely wrong. How do you do it? You have to give them based on the dues. Example, partner 1 is supposed to get 2000 and 1000. So the total amount of due is 3000. Partner 2 is 2000 and partner 3 is 1000. So if you look into this part, I have written clearly the ratio is 3:2:1 based on the dues, and that's how we make the payment. All these things have been explained in remember part. This slide is important from your theory point of view. The next slide is about the partner's capital. For this year, please try to understand one important thing. When a partner has to be paid, you always credit his capital. And when the firm has to take something from the partner, you debit the capital. Let's look into the fluctuating method first, and then I will explain you the fixed capital method. Now in partner's capital, first thing is the balance brought down from the balance sheet. Now if he is introducing capital, you have to increase the capital, right? Capital being a liability, you credit it. IOC, you have to give to the partner IOC, that is interest on capital, credited. Commission, salaries, divisible profit. Debit side is your cash, that is your drawing from capital, drawing from profit. We will discuss these drawings in detail in a while. IOD, that is interest on drawing, then comes your divisible loss. Now what happens over here? Why do we call it as a fluctuating method? If you notice, the balance over here is 290 and the balance over here, the closing balance is 200. So there is a huge amount of fluctuation happened because of all these transactions. All right. So this is why we use the word fluctuating method, and in this method, you only and only create one account, that is partner's capital account. If you are using fixed capital method, the sum you will see two accounts. One is capital account and second is current account. So all the adjustment which is not related to capital would be posted in the current account. For example, IOC, commission, salaries, net profit, all these things. So what are the things you record in capital account? Only and only the capital introduced and the drawing from capital. A businessman can withdraw money from their capital, also from his profit. So in partner's capital account, this is what can happen. So in simple words, partner's capital account can never be having a debit balance. All right. It will always have a credit balance. So whatever is capital here, only that much can be reduced this side. You cannot reduce more than that. But in partner's capital account, there can be a debit balance. That means this two balance can be written this side also if you have a massive loss here. This is again a theory question which I had asked in the last year board exam, that despite of massive loss, the company is not showing a debit balance under fixed capital method. Why? The reason is the losses are recorded in the current account and it will not have impact in your capital account. Now one more thing we have to learn in this slide is how do we calculate the opening capital? Opening capital in a sense 290 over year in fluctuating method. The entire credit side minus this debit side, you will get 290. All right. So if you can make a image of partner's capital account, things would be very much clear to you. You don't have to by heart the formula. Now the opening capital formula for fixed capital method, it will differ. Why? Because you are recording remaining things in the current account. So the formula would be closing balance 75, add the 50 rupees drawing from capital minus cash amount and you will get the figure 100. Why am I teaching you this method of opening capital? You will use this when you're doing past adjustment. Now we are going to learn another small aspect and an interesting aspect or segment of this chapter, which is called interest on drawings. As you know, a partner has got all the rights to withdraw money. Now he can withdraw in different way. Let's look into the simple method. The person is withdrawing 12,000 on 1st of Jan. The IOD is 10% per annum. So 1st of Jan till the year end, that is 31st of March, you got 3 months. So how do you calculate 12,000 into 10% into 3 by 12? Now let's look into product method. In product method, what happens? The person is withdrawing amounts at different dates randomly. Now you can use simple method, but if the number of withdrawals are more, it becomes bit tedious, isn't it? So that is why the product method comes into picture. You have to record the number of months left in that year after his withdrawal. So on 1st of May, if somebody is withdrawing till 31st March 18, how many months are left? 11 over year 1 over year 0. Then I just simply multiply the amount with the months and I get the product. Now the formula over here, you can read the formula. Total of product, that is 24,000, into rate, that is 10% into 1 by 12. 1 by 12 is going to be used everywhere in product method. Now we are moving on to an important method called systematic drawing, which students get confused, and it comes for probably 1 or 3 marks in board exam. Systematic drawing, the word systematic means somebody is withdrawing the money systematically. That means on regular intervals. That is what we have to understand. The formula is simple. IOD, that is interest on drawing, is equal to total drawings into rate by 100 into average period by 12. Now what is total drawings? Let's say a person is withdrawing 2,000 every month. What would be his total drawing? 2,000 into 12. If he is withdrawing every quarter, quarter means 4. So 2,000 into 4. This is what we understand by total drawings. Rate would be given. Average period is something I will explain you. Average period is equal to months left after first drawing plus months left after last drawing divided by 2. Now what does months left after first drawing mean? For that, let us look into this example. IOD is 10%. Partner withdraws 3,000 start of every quarter. Let us assume for this particular sum that your accounting year is from Jan to December. I'm using this Jan to December so that the quarter figures are very clear to you. So what is my first quarter? Jan, Feb, March. Second, April, May, June. What is the last one? October, November, December. So my year is from Jan to December. If is withdrawing start of every quarter, that means 1st of Jan is withdrawing. So from 1st of Jan till 31st of December, you have got 12 months. You have got 12 months. If you see, I have written 12 months over here. And then the months left after last drawing. When is the last drawing? 1st of October. So October, November, December. Again, 3 months. All right. So 12 plus 3 divided by 2. You understand the average period is 7.5. You have to use that over here. Divide by 12. So we get the IOD as 9,000. Understand the word systematic. Students get confused between systematic and product method. Both are two different things altogether. Now, these are the three things, different cases which we have to understand. This first thing is the simple method which we learned just now. I just write S over here. The next one is an interesting one which had come this year's board exam. If Mr. X withdraws 10,000 IOD and IOD is 10% per annum, how do you charge IOD for him? 10,000 into 10%, that's one thing. But do you know when he did the withdrawal? The date is not mentioned. And whenever the date is not mentioned, you're supposed to do 6/12. Okay, these are certain rules which we all have to follow. So since the date of drawing is not given, IOD will be 6/12. This is one thing which students forget, and most of the students forgot in the last board exam. A 3-mark sum, they scored a big 0 because of this small aspect. Okay, so this slides, every small aspect is important. So be very careful. Now the next thing which I would like to tell you is that if drawing of rupees 10,000, that is IOD is 10% and the date is mentioned over here is given, then how do you calculate it? Now again, one aspect which has been missed out is after 10%, the per annum word is not given. It means 10% straight on 10,000, that is 1,000. This is again a thing which has missed out over here, the per annum. That is why you charge a flat 10% on 10,000. I hope this slide is also clear. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next slide, and that is the past adjustment, the most important segment of this chapter because it comes every year. So let us understand what past adjustment is all about. Past adjustment follows the rule of rectification which we learned in 11th grade. I hope you all learned it. If not, don't worry, because rectification is way too complicated compared to past adjustment. In past adjustment, you follow this rule. Reverse the wrong posting and post the missing entry. These are the two rules, and once you follow this rule, you can never go wrong. So let us understand now. Let us read this. XYZ are partners with capital 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh respectively. X withdraws 10,000 and Y withdraws 2,000 start of every month. Y was wrongly given a commission of 10,000, profit of 30,000 was shared equally before giving IOC and IOD of 10% per annum. You have to pass the single entry to rectify this issue. Now, what is the issue? One issue is Y was wrongly given commission, and what was the other issue? Profit was distributed before giving IOC and IOD. So this is the missing part, and this is the wrong part. All right, this is first and foremost you have to understand what is missing, IOC and IOD, and what is the wrong part. And the wrong part is very much clear, right? The wrong part is the commission given. So now let us understand how to do this sum. To find IOC, as I told you, IOC should always, IOC is interest on capital. It should always be charged or given on which amount? On your opening balance, on your opening balance, okay? You should always give it on opening balance. Now what will happen if you don't have a opening balance? Let's say that they have given you 1 lakh, 2 lakh and 3 lakh. After distributing 30,000, that itself shows that this is your closing figure, closing capital. So I hope you remember the formula to find the opening capital. Just try to recollect your capital account. So based on that, I have created over here the chart. Closing capital, add drawings, minus commission, minus net profit. Now, did they tell you? Okay, they have clearly mentioned equally. So based on this format, I understand the opening capital, and then I will give IOC. IOC on 1 lakh, 2 lakh 4 and 2 lakh 90 has been posted. Okay, now we have to create 3 capital accounts for doing past adjustment, and the fourth one is the firm's account. All right. So where do you see the IOC? IOC is the amount to be given to the partner. So you should be posting in the credit side. So I have posted IOC in the credit side, 10,000, 2,400 and 29,000. And total of this I should be debiting on the firm's account. Whatever you do in the partner's capital, there should be a reversal entry in the firm's account. That's what you do. And then talking about IOD, let's look into the IOD one more time. X withdraws 10,000. What is the IOD charges? 10%. So can I say 10,000 into 10, that is 1,000? Yes, I can say, but teacher will say it is wrong. Why? Because we forgot to do 6 by 12. As I told you, the withdrawal date is not given. So 6 by 12, if you do, you will understand it is 500. And the next person, that is Y, has done a systematic drawing. So again, you will use the systematic drawing method. If you see, it's been clearly mentioned over here. I have clearly mentioned these parts in the extreme right side over here. No? If you see, I have mentioned it in the extreme right side. You will see these figures over here. Okay, I hope it's clear. So IOD, again, the amount to be taken from the partner. So I have debited it. When I debit it, I have to give a systematic recording in firm in the opposite side. That's the credit side. Then if you notice, there was a commission given wrongly. Wrongly. The word wrongly means you have to reverse it. So if the commission was given in the credit side, obviously when you reverse it, you have to debit it and post it in the firm's credit side. So this is what we do in past adjustment. Then we tally the firm's capital. Understand the word tally. Tally means you see which side is less or more. So when I do that, I understand the extreme, the left side, that's the debit side, is more, and the credit side is short by 47,600. That is called profit and loss. And this credit side item should be distributed as per the profit sharing ratio, which in this sum is equal. So I have distributed it equally. Once that is done, your sum is almost done. Now you will not tally any of the capital, but only total it. So I total this side, debit side, which is 16,368, credit side 10,000. Then I'll find out which side is more. Debit side is more, and I will write the difference over here. I want all of you to practice this same method, because this method will never ever go wrong. There are different methods of doing past adjustment, but this is the easiest one, and it is also put up in the textbook. Same thing for Y and Z. Once you do that, your adjustment journal entry would be in front of you. X account debit, Y account debit to Z account. Look, this is what the journal entry is. These are the steps written so that tomorrow, if you want to have a recap, you want to read it and understand, you can do that as well. I hope it is clear. Let's move on to the last and the most interesting part, which is called guarantee of profit. Now, what does guarantee of profit mean? Guarantee means the firm is guaranteeing one of the partner that every year you will be getting this much amount of profit, come what may. Even if there is a loss, this partner maybe is an expert, maybe there is some particular reason for which this guy has been given a guarantee. Now, talking about guarantee, there are two important key words to understand. One word is including and other is excluding. Including means add, excluding means ignore. Now, how we are going to use this keyword? Let us understand. Now, for guarantee, you will be creating P&L appropriation account. XYZ are partners, IOC to be provided 10,000 each to partner. In the left hand side, write down IOC. Why advance loan of 50,000? It is not recorded in P&L appropriation. But why is this information given? We will understand it later. Interest is yet to be paid. IOD 12,000 in the credit side. Now, X was to get 10% commission on net profit. What is your net profit? It is given down. We will read that. And Y is supposed to get commission after charging all commissions. Okay. And on net profit may be vary. Okay. To be paid 300 per month. That is the salary given to Y. So that is also been recorded over here. 10% is the divisible profit to be transferred to general reserve. So this particular sum takes care of everything. I mean, you will not get a sum like this in the board exam, but if you learn this sum, you have learned almost every aspect of P&L appropriation account as well as guarantee part. X was guaranteed a profit of 15,000, including his commission. Y was guaranteed 10,000 excluding IOC and commission. Profit for the year was 39,000. Prepare P&L appropriation account. Now, don't jump to a conclusion that the profit is 39,000. We learned in that first slide that profit should be excluding charges. What charges? The charges for the interest. Now, what is the interest charge? We learned in Partnership Act. It is 6% of 50,000, that is 3,000. So that is why we wrote over here 39,000 minus 3K. Now this is your net profit. Very important aspect, because students write 39,000 and go wrong, completely wrong. So pay attention to this part. All right. So you should understand 36,000 is what the profit is. Now, based on this, you will give profit to a commission to X. If you had assumed 39, what will happen? Everything will go wrong. A 6-marker sum, you will end up getting only 2 marks for your simple postings. So be very careful. So the commission is 36,000 into 10%, that is 3,600. Talking about Y. How is Y getting his commission? It's written, he is going to get commission after charging all commission. What did I tell you the word after charging all commission means? The word after comes, then you have to use the formula 10 by 110. If it was 5%, you would have wrote 5 by 110. All right. But after charging all commission, that means this 3,600 has to be minused. All right. So you get the commission part. And then what you will do, you will add up all these 3 figures in the credit side, all the 4 figures minus the debit side figure. And then you will understand that the balancing figure is 72,000. What are they saying? They have to give commission as the 72,000 is this side and 4145 is this side. You will get a figure 31860. So what is 10% of that? That is 3186. I hope this part is clear. General reserve is easy. You add up the credit side minus the debit side, you get a figure, okay, and you take 10%, that is 3186. And when this is minus, From that figure, that is 31860 minus 3186, you get 28669. Now you divide that among the partners. You will understand X is getting 9556, Y is getting 9556, and Z is getting 9557. Whenever there is a decimal point, there will be 1 rupee difference or 2 rupees difference. It's not a big deal. Once you divide that, let us understand this important line of guarantee. X is guaranteed 15,000 including commission. So 9556 plus commission of 3,600. What is the amount? You get an amount 13,156 in the extreme right. Third step, look into it. That means there is a deficiency of 1844. Now who will pay that amount? It will be paid by the firm. That means it will be paid by the remaining partner. So that 1844 you will minus from Y and Z, that is minus 922 minus 922. That is the half amount of 1844. Then let's read what Y was guaranteed. Y was guaranteed 10,000 excluding IOC and commission. What does excluding means? Ignore IOC and commission. So what is Y's amount? The profit what is left for him is 8634. Okay, that 8634 is the profit left, and he was guaranteed 10,000 by whom? By Z. So Z has to pay the remaining amount, that is 1366. So I'm going to add 1366 over here, and I'm going to minus 1366 over here. So that's how the guarantee gets over. Very important sum. I can assure you that a sum cannot be so detailed or comprising of everything. So if you understand this sum, you understand one entire segment of guarantee. Now let's look into the guarantee in case of loss. What happens when a firm is having loss and one of the partner is been guaranteed 10,000? Step number 1, distribute the loss among the partners. So in the debit side of partners capital, you're going to write this figure. So this is what the journal entry is. Partners capital to loss. Now who has been guaranteed? C has been guaranteed 10,000. Now C is having a debit balance of 20. So how can C have a credit balance of 30? Credit balance of 30, why am I saying? So that ultimately C gets 10,000. A partner is being paid by crediting his capital. Don't forget that aspect. So when I credit C 30,000, I have to debit A and B. They are the people who are supposed to pay the C. Now if you see over here, C's capital is credited and over here it's debited. Ultimately C's capital is having a credit balance of 10,000. That is what we have guaranteed. Again, guarantee in case of loss is a sum which always comes in the board exam. Very simple sum, but you have to remember it. This is a test which I always ask my students to attempt. If you attempt this sum, this particular test, you can get all kinds of possibilities in a sum. This sums is not coming from the textbook or from the board. These sums are all written by me so that it challenges your understanding. So please attempt this and send it to me as a PDF. That's it for in this video. If you have any doubt, please feel free to WhatsApp me or email me. Thank you.